one of Just My Baby Daddy podcast. I'm baby daddy number one, AJ.
I'm Eli. I'm not a baby daddy. I'm just the father of a couple kids.
Yo. So, so you fancy. You don't get you above the damn thing. This is the title. You above baby daddy. That's how we start. This is fine though. This is fine. Fine. This is also for fathers. For fathers, not just baby daddies, So the purpose of this is because we don't really get to talk as men, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fathers, we always are taught about, but we never really talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So much stuff that we have to say that we deal with day in, day out when it comes to fatherhood that just, especially as Black men, don't us. Like, we don't have feelings. We don't have anything like that. But we're here to show people that, it happens. It definitely happens.
No, that's true. I mean, it's so many narratives being written and talked about us. It's time for us to kind of have a voice. It's time for us to talk. It's time for us to discuss what we go through. I mean, we all have stories. We all have situations. We all have things that we've been through in the past that, hey, it's kind of time for us to tell our stories and get some sympathy or whatever we're trying to get at these different points in time.
So I became a father in 2014.
Yeah.
I had my first child when I was 30. Then, and my second child was 30.
You went ahead and got them out of the way.
My kids came back to back.
Gotcha.
But you were a father way before me.
Yeah, I had a daughter when I was 23, and I had my son, I think I was about 35, 34, 35. So I have a gap in between mine, and it kind of rears its head in the different aspects of parenting because it's such a gap. And so the experiences have been vastly different from the early 2000s to this new century. It's totally different. So yeah. So that whole back to back thing, kudos. But that break in between, I used to say when I talk about it, I was like, well, I was almost done. Then I started all the way over. That's
Listen,
part of life.
That's a bad thing. So back to back thing, you don't get enough time to like enjoy and embrace and see how you parent together.
Right.
One, that back to back thing, like, I'm a baby daddy now. But it means a lot of other factors, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's a lot. Because imagine, right? It's a lot on the woman. We won't take that away. It's a lot on the woman. But imagine dealing with a woman that's pregnant basically 20 or 24 months.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. When you're saying it's a lot on her, because I'm gonna be honest with you, this is just real conversation. That's a trigger point when I hear that. So I want to understand what you're meaning when you say it's a lot on the woman.
That is a lot on the woman to have a baby?
Oh, you talking about the actual birth piece. Okay,
no,
all right.
No, all of it, like the weight gain, the emotions, the dealing with one child, a newborn, and still being pregnant at the same time. Like, that's a lot.
Again, look, I get triggered. So that's why I'm trying to make sure I understand where you're coming from. So if you're really talking about the physical and emotional toll that it takes to carry a child, a birth child, and all that, when I hear a lot of people talking about, hey, it's a lot on the woman just to raise a child, take care of a child. So that's a trigger point. So I just wanted to make sure that I understood where you're coming from.
Because that implies that they're the ones going through it and doing it all.
That's right. Exactly, and that's why I was like, nah, man. Listen. Okay, listen, I just want to make sure now.
We're not allowed to say. Actually, here we are allowed to say that. Typically, you're not allowed to say that.
Bull. That's a fight I've been feeling like I'm holding on by myself. Look, no way in the world.
Listen, it's a lot of fights I could take, a lot of fights we can have. This one I'm gonna let you have that one. But
hey, man, look, I'll take it on. Look, I got big shoulders.
Okay. So how is your relationship with you? So you have two though.
Yeah. So I was married early. I got married early, not too far out after college. That's when I had my daughter. And then things happened. It didn't work out, and we got a divorce, and then I got remarried later in life. After I vowed that I would never get married again. But the relationship with my daughter's mom has at times been. We've actually always been cool, but not on the best terms because of, I would probably say, a lack of communication from one way or the other. So it's really never been like, yo, we just hate each other. Now we didn't always agree on a lot of stuff that we did, but it's never really. Well, I can't say that. It's been times where it's like, nah, we just really didn't like each other for one reason or another. But we tried to figure out a way to work through it. But it's been up and down. We didn't agree on certain aspects, and it's been a road, but she's graduated off to college, so we did something right.
But then, and your son too, though. Like you got a son.
Yeah.
You got one in college, and one is basically
One
just
in the
starting.
first grade. One in college, one in the first grade. So when I talk about starting over, that is it's a couple aspects to that. Is one, you're starting over with new lessons, new experiences, new things that you've learned from raising the first one. But it's also, you have to take into account the generational gap that's there. It's a lot of things that I did with my daughter just because I'm gonna say it like this. I was like a single father raising a little girl. Like the sleepovers that she didn't get to experience because, hey, how am I gonna look to have little girls over? Even, you know what I mean? So it's gonna be a weird little thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm like,
man.
yo,
I
but
never
even,
thought about that.
man, look, I'm gonna tell you something. Yo, I used to think about it all the time, and I used to feel bad because I was always one. I was like, yo, her friends, and all that, they always good with me. But yo, I'm a big black nigga with a little girl over at my house, then have other little girls. Yo, that just looks away. So I'm like, yo, what I look like saying, yo, bring your little girls over here to stay with me. I ain't got no wife, I ain't got no girl living with me. I'm like, yo, that's weird. So she
And
just lost out. I couldn't do nothing about it.
I have never thought about that. And I'm the same with
Man,
my daughter. I ain't never.
look, because see, here's the thing. You in your head know that you're a great father. You
Oh
in
yeah,
your head know that anybody that's under your care is going to be in great hands. They don't know us.
yeah, that's right. But I ain't gonna lie. I don't want the responsibility of somebody else's for kids either. I
No,
really.
but see, and that's the other thing. I never wanted that responsibility, but it wasn't about me.
That's true.
It's about her. It's about the experiences that she kind of missed out on when she was with me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's where the difference is. Now with my son, it's totally different. My son, is me and my wife raising them together, which is a totally brand new experience too, as far as both parents in the home. And so that's kind of giving me a different outlook on different things. And so a lot of the things that my daughter didn't get to experience, my son is going to get to experience. And so those things that he wants to do, he has more opportunity. So
Yeah,
that's going to be really good.
I never thought about that. But it's like when they come to me, they got each
Yeah,
other. You know what I'm saying? So
that's true.
I never thought about like, or I got cousins. They got
Yeah.
cousins or whatever. Now I ain't saying I let them over my house either, but I'm
Hold on,
pretty
you got a lot of problems with a lot of people now.
no, I don't got the space right now
I got you.
either.
I got you.
Like,
I got you.
but if I had the space, I'm not sure. I'm not sure because they'll just be running wild in my house.
So how does it feel having both kids around the same age when you're solo? How does that feel?
uh, I don't know anything else. Like, so I have nothing else to compare. I just know like when they're here, I got
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
Like, know how. I don't know how I make a lot of situations happen that happen with us. I don't know at all. Just do it. Like I never even think about it.
Like, how is your energy level?
The
Like,
energy.
yeah, like that has to be like rambunctious a little bit.
Oh my God. And I ain't got no space. So it's like, I hate to talk about my kids like this, but they run
Man,
around
you
the
talk
fucking.
about them anyway.
Like, cause it's not enough space, right?
Yeah.
They just wall to wall, and it's like, what you gonna do? Like, it's not. That's definitely why I gotta move because I gotta give them more space. Like, it's if I was for my, and that's the thing about kids, right? You really gotta change how you live for them.
That's true. That's true.
Because I could be fine right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's certain things like I don't want my kids to have this little space. I want them to be able to run around, do what they want to without me yelling and stop. Or I can just tell them, go downstairs, do what the fuck you want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But right here, no, I can't do this. You can do what you want. Just don't do it around me. Like just.
Do they fight a lot?
For now, huh?
Do they fight and argue a lot?
Oh my God, I kind of wish they fought more.
Really?
I wish my daughter would fight my son.
So your son runs things.
He cries. Like he whines, right?
Yeah.
But he don't get to run things here per se because he doesn't do that here.
Yeah.
But he's used to doing certain type of things to get his way. And that's how he
that's kind of bugged out. So like, for instance, like, so we talk about the gap in mind, right? Well, I'm gonna tell you the funniest part about it is that my son is a monster. My son reminds me so much of me because his mouth is a problem because he gets it honest. Now, like he's a combination of me and my wife, but the problem is his quickness comes from me. And so when it comes to my daughter, oh yeah, he's a bully to my daughter. Like she's the oldest. But the way he talks back to her is like, you know how we might go back and forth and shoot the shit for a little bit, just joking on one another. My son at 6 does that to an 18-year-old with no hesitation. So I'm like, well, somebody's gonna have a problem, and it's probably gonna be him because he's gonna have a couple issues with his parents in a minute.
It's like my daughter. Like the one thing my daughter does is every little facial expression I have, she takes them all. Them all. It gets on my nerves so bad.
Yeah.
Because I tell her stop giving me my face. As I tell her all the time. Like my daughter's just like that. But like it is great that you have that wonderful relationship with you, your wife, and your child, mom, and all of that. This is episode 1, so I ain't gonna get deep, but I will say.
Yeah, I want to hear this. I need you to tell me about your relationship.
We ain't in the same boat.
Hold on. Before you tell me about the relationship, right? I just got one question. Have you told her about this podcast?
No.
Okay. Now let me ask this question. Why? Actually, no. I got another question. No. That's what I was about to say. Do you feel like you should have?
No, because it ain't gonna stop anything. Like, what she said, don't do it. I'm not like.
But it's not about them in the first place, though. It's about your story. You know what I mean? So I completely understand.
I'm not here to bash or talk.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I said I will pass on a lot of my story for right now. Like,
well, hold on. Now you can still give me a little insight because the one thing I do want to know is what's kind of molded you into your experience and molded you into what you are as far as a parent right now. And so if that has something to do with, the relationship with you and their mother, then that's cool. But you ain't got to get deep into it, but kind of give me a high level overview.
Well, no, a little overview is she is an excellent mother. She does whatever the kids need. The kids need nothing. I think she's a little hard on herself at times, but she is an excellent mother to the children. I can say that with no hesitation at all.
That ain't
Now,
the question I asked you though, but I got you.
I
I like the
understand.
setup. I like the whole setup. Like you trying to warm the palate a little bit, but you talking to me right now.
But how I get treated, like it's just little stuff that can happen. I can give you like a prime example is if something happens where it's like, can I pick up the kids at a certain day, certain time or whatever? And I was just like, well, what day or whatever? And I might get something back like, beggars can't be choosy. Like, what are you talking about? You've never begged me to pick up my children. What are you talking like? It's just little stuff like that. I feel like it's little jabs that's always thrown my way.
Right.
You know, I've been at the point. I've been the dad that don't step foot in the house, and I stay in the house. I started thinking about that and said, man, I can't believe. You hear stories about it, right?
Yeah.
And you always think like, yo, that's crazy. That's wow. Some of the stuff that you hear and like some of the stuff I had, I would never in a million years think. I'd be like, no, this never. Now, granted, I wasn't always the best person.
Right.
So, it might be a little backlash from that. I get it.
Right.
But yeah, like you never asked me to pick up my kids. You never, had to beg me to pick up my kids.
Yeah.
So it's just little jabs and stuff that come that way. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not getting into it today.
No.
You think I should tell? I mean, we're recording this. This ain't coming out right away. You know what I mean? I probably will tell her before it drops. I mean, we ain't going to say, I'm not talking bad about her.
No, you're not.
But what I am going to do is speak my truth and speak, what happens. Especially we get other guests on here. We want our guests to speak themselves,
Oh, for sure.
One thing I can't do is not be genuine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I have a problem if you do that.
I have to give everything.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be fake about anything.
No doubt. I respect that. That's a great way to be, because the number one thing that when we were talking about this is about being as genuine as possible, being as authentic and as true to the stories that we have as possible, because it's our stories that can maybe even help somebody down the road, or other people may be going through the same things in their own way. So any information or insight that we can give, I mean, it can help a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And it's been long overdue, because like we talked about, hey, our narratives have been written for us for the most of, as long as I can remember. I haven't really seen too many black fathers out there talking about, what they go through or telling their story. So, it's going to be beneficial to a lot of people that we don't even know we're going to touch.
Right. And, we came up with the whole idea, and we thought about it. Like, we're going to have these primary questions that we always want to ask. So, like, one of them is, what does it mean to you to be a father? So I'm going to ask you.
Fatherhood to me means building a legacy with my own offspring. Meaning that legacy is built off of the lessons that I pour into, or pouring into your children is fatherhood. Pouring wisdom, pouring knowledge, pouring love, pouring motivation and caring. It's those types of things that fuels me as a father. The other thing that I think about is that fatherhood is, for me, is a culmination of mistakes while learning throughout the process. And so you don't know everything as a father. It's almost like any type of relationship. You're supposed to learn as you go. And fatherhood is nothing but a bunch of lessons and rewritings. And so, that's for me, that's what fuels me to be the best I can be. Because all we know is what we know until we grow. And so, those are bars that I wrote down as far as like some rap lyrics I was working on.
Just come up with that shit off the top of your head.
Hey, yo, look, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm good. These bars that I got, these bars are what got me a long way in life, man.
We're gonna cut that shit off of one of our clips.
Hey, look, I'm telling you now. Look, my balls take me a long way now. So I got some gym. I'm gonna tell you a funny little story that it has something to do with it. But one of my mentors, I got a couple mentors for fatherhood, and one of my main mentors is like my uncle. My uncle to me is like my second father because every time I talk to him, he's basically poured gems in, and we always laugh about that because he'll hit me with at the end of our conversation, he was like, hey, Moses. Everybody called me Moses. So my nickname, my family, they called me Moses. And he was like, yo, Moses. And so he said, Mo, I gave you something today, didn't I? He was like, yeah, because he's taught me how to parent. He's taught me how to look at my children as little mirror images of who I am and what I want to leave to the world when I leave here. And so that's what fatherhood is. And that's why I say it's about legacy. It's about what you pour and what's going to be left when you're gone. So, but you can't be asking me a whole bunch of questions and not kind of give me some responses though. Now your bars are not as good as mine, but I still want to hear what you got to say.
So for me, what it means to be a father, I would say the answer is everything, right? Oof. As a person who grew up without a father, right? So a father to me is just an imaginary thing, right? Mm-hmm. It is something that like at night when I was pissed off and I could not, and it's times where I was like, man, me and my mother I just can't do it. I can't do it. Be like, oh my God, my life would be so much different. I had a father. Let me not act like I didn't have a father. I had a father. My father was killed when I was 4. Oh. So I had a father, and the only memories I have of my early life, like I have memories of me 3 years old. Like, right. But only memories I have of that type of stuff always involve my father, right?
Yeah.
I don't have any young memories of like really going to school a lot or nothing like that. I have memories of my father. I'm 4 years old, driving around in different cars and all this other stuff. Like, I remember that. And so to me, he was everything, right? So when that's taken away, it's like it's a myth. It's a myth that just grows and grows and grows. Mm-hmm. And so then eventually it's like, all right, now it's my turn, right? Everything that I felt like I wanted, I can now do and become and do it in a different way. So like fatherhood, and I think that's probably what messed me up at some point, is I know you're supposed to think of, married with kids, and that's the life.
That's the traditional,
I never once, and it's sad because I actually been engaged, but I never once dreamed of being married. Always dreamed of being a father. Never dreamed of being a husband. I thought that might have to be the route in order to get what I wanted, but I always wanted to be a father. So being a father, like everything.
Wow.
Everything.
So that's interesting that you took that perspective. So that kind of leads me into the idea of like, well, who taught you how to be a father?
Who taught me how to be a father? It's weird, right? I would say it's when I was younger, I would say like my uncle. Mm-hmm. And he's not even my uncle by blood, but it's through marriage. And he's raised my cousin since he was a kid. Yeah. It's my uncle because he showed me how to make sure that, stuff was provided for at home. Yeah. Even if he wasn't necessarily always home, he showed me how to stuff was provided for at home. Now, as I got older, I learned more stuff, but I didn't know everything. I knew a lot of stuff, but not everything, right? But we all make mistakes, but that can't take away the love from my uncle. And really, and I got older, it's my grandfather. Oh. And my grandfather showed me the type of patience that I've never seen from any man, because he had to deal with my grandmother a lot and her 6 daughters.
Oh, wow.
6. She had 3 daughters before he got with her, and then had 3 more and never left. I don't know how he did it. And my aunts are not, they probably listen to this, but they ain't lying. So, I ain't even got to say no more.
Right,
my aunt,
right.
And my mother too. So she was part of that too. So, yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
So who taught you? You said your uncle?
Yeah,
That's all.
no. So mine is kind of crazy because my mother and father divorced when I was super young. My mother remarried twice, right? Now, twice? Yeah, twice. So now my first stepfather basically raised me through middle school, through high school, start of college. That's where my foundation comes from. The way I learned to be a father is taking from bits and pieces from everyone. And so the foundation was set with him. And then she remarried later, and that's where I kind of got a deeper understanding of relationship, which is vital to how to grow. Now that whole time, I have a huge family. So I I, I got a huge family. Like maybe, if I'm not mistaken, I got like 15, 16 aunts and uncles on my mom's side. She was the baby. My uncles are ill. All of my uncles. I mean, we had growing up. Our first set of cousins were always super tight. So our relationships were really strong with my aunts and uncles, and that really hasn't changed for the most part. Like I got three uncles right now that are like my mentors still. I'll call them up right now. They give me insight, information on anything that I ask, like I'm their son. And so ever since my mom passed, my uncles and my stepfathers, they hold me down. Even my father now. And so with my father really not being there early on the way you would traditionally feel like your father should be there, like that whole beautified plan of what fatherhood should be, like that we're doing, like we're present and we're active in all aspects. See, I didn't really have that. And so life, my uncles, my stepfathers, they're the ones that actually kind of molded me into a father that I am now, because you basically take bits and pieces from everyone and then add that on top of the mistakes that you made along the way as you were learning how to be a father, because I was really strict because that's all I knew. So those are the types of things like, okay, well, you can pull the reins back a little bit here, be a little bit stricter here, or let it go a little bit right there. So those it's always constant self inventory and adjustments. And so I've learned all of that from them because they made me who I am. Now, every aspect of me, you can almost find an uncle in my family that mirror my different parts of my personality, because they all poured into me. And so that's where a lot of my ability and a lot of my lessons come from, is my family.
That's like me and my cousins. Like we're like cousin brothers because what's crazy is like my mother is six of them from my
Hmm.
grandmother. It's girls, right? My my grandfather had two kids, so altogether it was eight of them.
Yeah.
We got two boys. Um, but all of my aunts and my mother, of course, my mother all had boys,
Great.
all had, and all of us have girls.
Oh wow.
All of us have girls.
Yeah.
All of us have girls. It's crazy. Crazy. At
That's
least,
cool.
well, some got multiple girls. Um, so let me ask you a question. Another one of those fundamental questions we're going to ask, and I think it's a good one,
Uh
is
oh.
when it was that, damn, I'm really a dad. Like,
Ooh.
I'm really a father. What
Ooh.
moment?
Ooh. I'm gonna tell you a deep one, actually. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you this one, because there are a lot of points along my way. I mean, either whether that was getting up super early to drive from Fayetteville to RTP for work and back to pick her up from daycare, or it's a lot of different stories that I can tell you, but I'm gonna tell you one that hits home with me. So it was one time when I moved down to Columbia, South Carolina, took a new job down there, and at that particular point in time, it was just me and my daughter, right? Moved into a brand new apartment, really nice apartment, high end apartment. But for some reason, I didn't remember to pay my light bill one day. My lights would turn out in this. high luxury class apartment complex that I'm living in, and it's just me and her. I got to the house with her during the day, picked her up from school, went to the house, and realized my lights were off. You know how bad that hurt? So what I did was we went to the house. I left and went over to one of our other frat brothers' house, and his wife just stayed there until it got dark. So then I drove home, gave her a bath, and didn't tell her what was going on, but she was like, "Daddy, why you not turning on the lights?" And I said, "Well, because baby, it's almost bedtime for you, and I don't want you to, wake up and be up all night, so you can go straight to bed after we finish." And then I laid down after I got off the balcony and realized, I'm like, yo, even though it was an honest mistake, my job is to provide and protect her from anything that comes forward. No matter if it's my mistake, no matter what the situation is, it's not for her to have to worry about anything. And she was just maybe 2, 3. So she wouldn't have known what was going on because I turned it into a game and all of that. But it was something that was internal that aided me, and it made me realize that, yo, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for her. And so from that point on, it kind of drove me to make sure that I go above and beyond for the providing aspect of fatherhood, the protective aspect. Those things that sometimes we can kind of take for granted as a father and as a man, that held true to me from that day forward. So, now it's to a point where, okay, well, I don't mind spoiling my kids because I want them to know that no matter what it is that they want, they can get. No matter what it is, I'm going to be there to provide and make sure that they're okay. And so that one really hit home to me, and that's one of the ones that stick with me to this day because it kind of hurt. It hurt me. It hurt not only my pride, but it made it feel like I was failing, in just a simple mistake.
Well, that ain't the first. I have one of those moments. I know exactly what you're talking about. Mine ain't that. That definitely. Wait a minute, Eli. But
hold on.
You can't tell me that's a great story and everything, Eli. But
Yeah,
you can't.
yeah.
That's an excellent story, Eli.
All right, go ahead.
The first time you realize you're a dad because your goddamn kid is 2 or 3 years old.
No, like I said, I got a million stories. I got a million stories because
I'm talking about like the first one that you can remember. Like, damn, like this is like really mine.
No. You can do that. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna educate you, young buck. Since you wanna question me, I'm gonna tell you something. When I tell you that there's a million different top points along the way that reaffirms your fatherhood. That's the whole point of that story. It's not so you can go from.
Oh no, I get that.
No, follow me. Let you ask me a question. Let me tell you the answer. So you can I could go down from when you first see them pop out. Beep, hold on, you can go there to the first time you realize it ain't that bad. First time you got to wake up early in the morning, or first time you see a picture where they're maybe a couple weeks old and we all have them where they're on our shoulders sleeping, we sleep on the couch. All of those moments, those are beautiful, cherished moments. You have a million of those, but it's so many of those that sometimes you kind of look past those, and that's the other thing that we got to be careful with. We got to cherish all of those moments because sometimes they seem so small and insignificant. That's why it's easy for me right now to go back to the bigger ones because as you continue to rack up experiences, it's going to be some of the bigger ones that stick with you a little bit longer. Now that's a piece of advice that's brought to you by Eli of the Just My Baby Daddy podcast. Hold on to that.
My moment was you just downplay my moment real quick too because mine was.
Man, I know you were about to say something simple.
My daughter laying on my shoulder, but that's because I only have about 5 pictures of me and my father total. And the one that I have that I still have to this day is that one.
Okay, I got one. So what's your point?
I had that one reenacted. But if we want to go to the sentimental daddy thing, it's always the girls, right? Yeah. It's always the girls. It's not my son. It was It was when I was living in North Carolina. My kids were living here. And I remember I was tucking her in because I don't stay at the house or anything like that. And she didn't want me to go back to North Carolina, or she didn't want me to leave. And I was like, baby, I'll see you soon. She said, you're going to leave because you always leave.
Ooh.
I said, man. Ooh. And I went downstairs. I actually stayed at the house that night. The mother was out of town. The grandmother lives at the house, so they wasn't going to be alone. But I stayed on the couch, and I remember her like putting her hand on my shoulder, and I almost cried.
Oh, wow.
Completely broke down. And then to make it worse, though, like my kids can just change your emotions real fast. Because when they saw their mother, she's like, Daddy was crying. I'm like, man, fuck all this. Like,
emotional self.
Like, that's the last time to get that shit out of me. I'm like, come on, man. But yeah, when she was like, you're going to leave, you always leave, man.
I know that hurt. I know that hurt. Hurt.
God. Oh my God. Like that's something that like I just can't let happen anymore.
Let me tell you this now. This is a safe space. And if you ever feel like you need to get emotional, I got you.
I'm definitely not crying about no shit.
I got you. Hey, look, I got you. I'm here for you.
That one was rough. Like that's rough to hear your daughter like you're going to leave, you always leave. And it's like, I'm not leaving. I don't want to leave you. I was working down there and it was just North Carolina. When I went back to North Carolina, it was just a bad time.
I got you. Yeah, we'll get into that another day.
But so we're going to have this show going, and if we get it to blow up in our minds like we want it to, right?
Yeah.
We're going to get guests. And we talked about this before, right?
Uh-huh.
We're going to, if we had our Mount Rushmore.
Oh, no, I'm about to spin this one. Go ahead.
Of guests. I'm not just saying they have to be the best celebrity fathers that you know, but of guests. Who are your 4 guests you would have? Well, we can go one at a time. Go back and forth. You
All right.
go first.
Yeah, we gotta do that because I can't wait to hear your list because that's gonna be good. So how about you start? You kick this one off. Go ahead.
Because go
ahead. I know at least one. Go ahead.
Future. That's my one, and that's my one. That's 1,000% my one because the narrative is always shaped one-sided.
Okay.
And whether he may not care to speak on it or stuff like that, but like it is like the questions we asked about, like, who raised you? What is it like? Like you don't know this man's story. And honestly, we have no idea how the fuck he parents his kids because none of us are there with him like that. You know what I mean? But that's so you hear it.
All you hear is stories.
All you hear is one side, and you just keep his mouth shut. You know what I mean? And I feel like it'll be a good interview because I'm not gonna go in there with no preconceived notions because I'm just not. I'm not.
I mean, I'm not either, but I figured it was gonna be something like that because I'm a little more refined.
I think great guest though.
No, I think it'd be an ill conversation, to be honest with you, because
soundtrack to a lot of our shit too.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, look, at least the worst that we can get out of it is a clearance for a song.
Okay. Man, if we had to get a song, I want, what song I want.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you know what else I would take?
What?
If I get 3 6 Mafia.
Oh man, those are like those I love. I love that. I love their music, and I do want that too. So we're gonna try that as well. I mean, that's gonna be for our special episodes. So you already know. I think you have an idea where I'm going with my first answer.
I hope it's not the opposite of what I just said.
My first one is very predictable, and I'm gonna go with Obama.
Oh, yeah.
I want to go with Obama. And the reason I want to go with Obama is not because he was the president, but because he only had 2 girls. and I want to see what he has to say as far as the experiences from raising a little girl, and that I can probably kind of get some insight to how he did it while maintaining a high profile job where he actually had to move around a lot. Even with being the president and all that, I think he has a lot of gems that he could share with a lot of people on a more humane and more relatable platform as far as what he shares. I think that's gonna be my first one. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
There's absolutely nothing wrong.
See, I really think it's a theme that's about to go, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you go ahead and rock out.
My second one will be LeVar Ball.
Oh wow, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, definitely LeVar Ball. I mean, you can say all that, the loud, boisterous stuff, but I mean, one, it worked. Two, you got 3 kids that are doing well for themselves. Jello never has to go. He never has to go to the NBA. He's still going to be set for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He does, and he does all of this while also taking care of his wife.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't hear, because usually if it's somebody of his stature, they're going to try to find something to tear him down real quick.
For sure.
And so to be able to maintain your relationship with your wife as a husband while being a public figure and being a great father, it might put pressure on his boys. Yeah, but I mean, they're built for it.
Yeah.
Because like that's where I would go.
All right. Well, I'm gonna tell you. All right. So it's interesting that you said him. So my second one is actually kind of in that same realm, and it's actually going to be LeBron. LeBron. Now he's younger than I am, but the way he's built an empire while being active, what we can see as being active, that's impressive. And I want to be able to get into it and pull the curtains back a little bit, especially with him being raised by a single mother and seeing how how that molded him and how his work ethic as far as basketball and the multiple things that he has going on. How does he actually find the time to pour into his kids? Because if I'm not mistaken, his youngest is a little girl, right? If I'm not mistaken. And so trying to balance that with 2 sons and a little girl, that your princess, it really does require a lot of time and a lot of attention. And seeing how does he really pull that off? That would be a great interview in my opinion.
Okay.
So go ahead. Let me see what's next.
Like, yeah, Eli, yes. LeBron James and Barack Obama, yes.
Hold on there. You went from Future to LeVar Ball. Boy, you got a lot of sound on here. You got some sound bites.
Well, okay. Before I go to my next one, right?
Go ahead.
I want to say that if I had a chance, I mean, if we would have did this years ago, my number 1 pick would have been Joe Jackson.
Oh boy, if that would have been interesting and entertaining. Now that one, I'm with you on that one. I might not initially been with you on the Future one, but I'm with you on the Joe Jackson one because that one would have been great.
But now I go with Anthony Anderson.
I didn't see that one coming.
I would go with Anthony Anderson because he's a father in real life, but he has been, and I know a lot of people he get a bad rap for that show, and I don't know why.
What,
but but as a black father on television, he does an amazing job. He in the show puts together questions and stuff like the show made me realize and made me think about I notice how the kids don't really have black friends, right?
Yeah.
That's also because that wouldn't be real if they had all black friends because of where they are. And I'm starting to think about it man, I don't know if my kids, based off of where they are, if they're going to have friends where mom black, dad black, grandma black, granddaddy black. Like my kids, it's black. I'm black, mama black, grandma and granddaddy black, black. Like we just black, right?
Yeah.
But my kids, somewhere along the line, mom, dad might be white, might be from overseas, might be, you know what I mean? It's not going to be because they're not going to be in that environment. And so on the show, how he takes himself from Compton to here where he is now, and like just that transition and wanting to instill what you learn, you know, from where you grew up to still instill into your kids, even though they're never going to go through anything like that. So I want to hear it.
I like it. All right. So you kind of messed me up with another comedian. Because I was going to say I want to talk to Kevin Hart. But you said Anthony Anderson. I still wanted to talk to Kevin Hart, but he's like number 4 or 5. No, might 5 or 6 on the list now. So I'm moving him down a little bit. So I'm gonna tell you who I'm gonna pull up. Richard Williams.
Okay.
I want to talk to him because not only does he have a movie coming out really soon talking about the relationship and all that, I actually want to talk to the man himself to kind of get the things that he's gone through as a father, the vitriol that came his way early on for the way he raised his kids, raised his daughters, and kind of see, okay, well, what would you tell other fathers? How would you guide other parents and black fathers who are trying to do something a little different, trying to instill certain work ethics and goals and visions into their not only their daughters but their sons as well. And so he seems like he appears to be a great person because he has a certain old school flair to parenting that some of that stuff could actually be useful in today's generation. Now, the stories that have been written about him, the picture that has been painted has been mostly negative. But he has a story, and his story is should be something that's inspirational to other fathers who are experiencing certain things that are relatable. So he's somebody I want to talk to.
Okay. I got honorable mentions, but I'll leave those alone because I know you probably one of them probably be one of yours that you want to use for your last one. But
oh no, you have nowhere I'm going, no idea where I'm going with my last one.
Well, like, because honorable mentions, you would be to like the Will Smith. You know what else I really thought of?
Oh,
well, Dwayne Wade, of course, because you said LeBron James. But I thought it would have been good to get Keenan Ivory Wayans.
That would be good. I would like that one.
And then because he set the bar for all of them as well.
Yeah.
That entire family and what he did for everybody. But I'm going with Matt Barnes.
Wow.
I'm gonna go with Matt Barnes because I listen to his podcast and stuff all the time, so I hear a lot about his story and all of that. But the thing is, it's crazy. It's crazy. He fought for his kids in a literal way as well, right? But all you hear about is athletes abandoning kids and all this other stuff. So he does the exact opposite, but now he also gets a bad stigma for it because it's aggressive and all that. Like, he's a dad. Now, why would you want your kids are hearing all of this stuff said about you in the media, right?
Yep.
And they see you one way and they hear all of the other stuff. How do you get them, or how do they learn to not pay attention to all that other stuff? And because they know who their dad really is. Yep. Like that's what I would want to talk to. I would want to talk to Matt Barnes. That would be high on my list.
Okay. Well, since you threw a twofer out there with the honorable mentions, I'm gonna throw one more that I think we both would want to talk to for different reasons, and that's Nick Cannon. So he's still on the list.
Yeah.
But I'm actually gonna replace him on my Mount Rushmore with Country Wayne. Because he has a story, and that story is a story that I need to sit down and talk to him about. Because not only is he creating a template for how you actually do things, he actually has the insight to how do you maneuver and make it work. what and he needs to be able to tell that story because he only touches it on the surface level. And I want to kind of, like I said, dig a little bit deeper to kind of get that story that people will want to know, and especially me. And so he's high up on my list, and that rounds my Mount Rushmore up. But it's a whole lot of people that we really do want to talk to, and we're gonna touch them. But yeah, that's a solid 8 right there.
That's a solid 8, real solid. And then Nick Cannon, he's on both our lists.
Yeah, he's definitely up there. He definitely up. I mean, even though he's talked, he hasn't talked in the way that we want to talk about fatherhood. Because he only stays on that surface. We want to kind of get his points of view, his visions, his ideas. Those types of things are what people need to hear, and tell his own truth. And so that's why I think we both want to talk to him.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I shouldn't have said Anthony Anderson, but I mean Anthony Anderson though. But I didn't even think of. I just thought of him as an actor. I didn't even think of him as a comedian. Because if I'm gonna go comedian, we're gonna go Bruce. Biased.
Oh no, biased. No, yeah. Nah, he's high. He's high up on that list. High. Yeah, no, we need to touch him ASAP. That shouldn't even be on the Mount Rushmore. That should be like, we want to talk to you as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So no, we definitely got to work on that.
So normally we also, we're going to have guests that we go through a lot of these questions and stuff with. Not their Mount Rushmore because they ain't booking nobody for us, so we don't give them.
Word. Unless they got to connect, we'll holler at them about that.
Yeah. But there are certain questions that we would want to ask all of them. Then there's also questions that we want to get from the guests. You know what I mean? Not from the guests, but from the listeners.
Yeah.
And so normally we're going to have those questions read. You can send it in to us on our email account. You can send it to us on Instagram. You can put it on YouTube comments. But those questions are going to be done and read by our producer, Hannah. Hannah, you want to introduce yourself?
What's up, Hannah?
Hey, I'm Hannah.
Come on, you got a better introduction to that. Tell her you're the brainchild. You're the glue that makes all this happen. You're the engine that drives this thing. Go ahead and tell them the whole story.
This whole time talking about
No, this is exciting. I'm excited to be behind the scenes and encourage the conversation like on the social space and then people that want to be in our emails. Because it doesn't happen. That's why we're here. That's why we all agreed. The conversation doesn't happen. And I feel like 2021 is a prime time to just go ahead and do it.
That's a true story. I completely agree with that.
So we have a segment at the end of every podcast episode, Daddy Knows Best. You can email us at contact@justmybabydaddy.com. You can find us on social media at justmybabydaddy. And the question this week, since we don't have any listeners yet, is what advice would you give to a new or aspiring father?
Hey, Jay.
Why me first?
Because I told you I have bars. I'm in this really good, I guess.
Yo, I've been thinking about this.
Yeah, I need some time. I need some time to put an answer together.
All right. So what advice would I give? My advice would be, no matter what you go through, you always got to be there for those children. Times are going to be rough. Don't run out on a situation just because it's rough. No matter the situation with the mother, it's all about the children. And at the end of the day, nothing will love you as much as your children. So there's no choice in losing. You don't want to lose that type of love. Like, why would you give that up? Never. So just be present all the time. All the time.
That was deep. I like that answer. And I almost, that's making me wish I would have went first because I don't really know how to follow that up. But in all seriousness, only piece of advice that I would give is to make sure that you are a father. Be a father in the sense that you're a father first. You're not a friend. Your job is to raise and to instill wisdom and instill knowledge. So it kind of goes into what you were talking about as far as being present. But you also have to realize and remember what your responsibility is first and foremost. That may even involve you giving up some of the things that you may enjoy doing or may want to do because your first responsibility is to those kids, is to be there, is to listen, is to learn, is to love, is to enjoy those moments with them as they grow. Because the number one thing that you can't get back at any point is time. And when you give up time, all you do is invite regret, invite sadness, because when you look back and mature, and because we're all maturing in parenthood in the first place, because we don't have it all figured out. And so you remember to be there and be a father first. No matter how you feel, no matter how stressful it is, no matter how much energy it takes, do that first and then reap the rewards in the end. Because no matter how hard you try, your kids are going to be who they are in the end anyway. It's your job to do the best that you can and up front. So that way they have something to fall back on when they need it. So be a father first.
I got nothing to say. All right. Any closing words?
No, I'm ready to go to sleep now.
We're going to have a dope guest next week, though. We have a dope guest next week. We're going to leave y'all hanging. All right.